Somewhere along the line, a kind of reverse snobbery took over discussion of Hollywood. Previously despised programmers, trash genres, or low-budget efforts with more invention than finish were touted at the expense of the industry's more ambitious films. Such a correction foregrounded the vitality at work in the margins, but with the consequence that more expensive efforts were often assumed to be leaden clinkers, unless they featured a favorite star or were directed by a critical darling. Thus, I admit I watched Grand Hotel mainly out of a sense of obligation to see such a prestige project, and expected it to be nearly unbearable. That Greta Garbo was the featured attraction did nothing to improve my expectations, since her films often are a chore to endure. And to be sure, much of Hotel lumbers with Hollywood elephantiasis. But there is a lot of surprising appeal. Garbo is Grushenskaya, a famed ballerina experiencing an unspecified crisis that enables some raw emotion to sneak past her often stiff, hieratic poses. It helps that she is merely the biggest name in the film, not its exclusive focus. Grushenskaya's brief affair with Baron von Geigen, John Barrymore, starts as little more than what's needed to get the story moving, but both manage eventually to make their rapture almost believable, even compelling. Unfortunately, while the Baron is noble in name and behavior, he is also desperate for money and divided in his motives. How he pays for his stay in the hotel is one of many plot holes. He is merely the most prominent of several relatively complex characters. Lionel Barrymore as Kringeline, a mortally sick accountant enjoying a self-indulgent spree, is set up to be sympathetic, but also an irritating whiner. The young Joan Crawford as Flamchen, a stenographer on the make, is both worldly wise and quietly affectionate without making a big deal about it. Dr. Ordenschlag, Louis Stone, disfigured by a facial war wound, wanders around the hotel like a morose visitor from a horror film, but proves to be a sagacious observer at the moment of truth. Moreover, much of the MGM gloss is well applied, with plush background detail working as a kind of cushion for the action. Director Edmund Goulding and his technicians create a convincing, functioning world that has its own requirements beyond the guest's needs. One of the script's most felicitous touches, for example, is to make the chief porter Zimpf, Jean Hersholt, so wrapped up in his wife's off-camera labors that he is totally oblivious to the story's central tragedy. Not that these virtues add up to an overlooked masterpiece. Nonetheless, despite the creaking melodrama, there is enough colorful, engaging surprise to compensate for the effort to impress. Grand Hotel will do nothing for people who like their movies fast and punchy, but it does expose that preference as just another prejudice that can get in the way of enjoying yourself.